So just before I get started in the video, this video is going to include no leaks about The Last of Us 2 because the leaks were fake. We're not going to talk about it. But we are going to talk about plot points from The Last of Us 1 because it's relevant. So, what is good, YouTube? Warstu here. If you are new around here, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the videos. At the 100,000 subscribe mark, I will be giving away something pretty darn cool. So I will be live streaming me playing Last of Us 2 on twitch.tv/Warstu. Make sure to follow there. As soon as the game comes out, I will be streaming Last of Us 2 because it's going to be a freaking awesome game. So if you are new around here, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the pop culture video game based videos. So let's get into it. So the title might or may have triggered you. So the title will be The Last of Us 2 video game. It's insanely great. The leaks are fake. Well, because the leaks are fake. They really are, so to speak. So it's probably 1 or 2 months now since the internet blew up, everyone ridiculing The Last of Us 2. But I question the people. Did you play The Last of Us 1? If you didn't, then you can't really even report on these stories because context is everything. You can know the full plot for something, but if you haven't had the emotional twist, if you haven't played a game, how can you break down a 40-hour plus video game into a concept piece or an editorial kind of video without actually playing the game? Now, recently, Neil Druckmann of Naughty Dog has come out and said some very interesting things, and he suggests some of the spoilers online are actually fake. Now, what is interesting is I know exactly what's going to happen. I know how YouTube is. I know how the comment section is. You're going to get that it's damage control. It's damage control. So you're telling me every single reviewer that is allowed an early reaction is lying? Really? No. If you played Last of Us 1, it's a masterpiece. I recently completed Last of Us 1 Remastered. My PSN, it's Warstu. You can go check my trophies, yeah. So we recently just finished it, and it's such a beautiful game. The relationship between Joel and Ellie is insane. You know, how he treats her at the start, and at the end, it's almost like he's treating her like his daughter. So, a Brazilian reviewer had the following to say in terms of the quality of game. Now, PlayStation, unlike other platforms, have very good exclusives. You know, the PS5... Apparently, the PS5 event is now happening on Thursday this week, which is cool. If it happens, we will recover it. So, we've got games like God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, Infamous, and stuff like that. We've got such great independent story-driven games. So let's get over what one of the reviewers had to say. The game is a masterpiece, a game that is once in a lifetime. One in a long time. Facial animations are the best in the video game industry. The sound is incredible. Each detail is amazing. It does everything that a sequel should do, upgraded in all aspects. Now, what is interesting is some people seem to think The Last of Us was perfect. It really was a perfect game, but it left us thinking, what's going to happen next? Did we need a sequel? Not really. We really didn't. I've literally just finished playing it this week. We didn't need a sequel. But it did leave you thinking, what's going to happen to Ellie? What's happening to Joel? They kind of go off into the sunset. And you know, the infection, the virus is still about. There isn't a cure. So it is interesting. I'm really interested to see what is going to happen going forward. My expectations were really high, but it still managed to surpass those expectations. It's really great. I usually don't compliment games this much, even when I like them a lot, but this one really is something special. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say damage control, but I've read a lot of early reactions from reviewers. Obviously, they can't review the game properly till the 12th of June, but a lot of people are saying the same thing. You'll finish an action sequence without breath. The game is extremely violent, the most graphical violence he's ever seen, but the violence is adequate to the world. I mean, we're living in a world, in this video game, with infections, with they're basically zombies in a way, so it makes sense. And the first game was really violent. I really can't wait to play The Last of Us 2. Now, I'm not a damage control team. I'm just going on based what I've been told, and also what everyone's saying that's played the game thus far. The game is very impressive. The game story catches your attention as soon as it starts. You want to play more and more. Well, that makes sense because we want to know what's going to happen next. I know you're anxious to play the game, and that anxiety will be paid really well. Now, this is from a Brazilian reviewer, so I presume it's been translated. So a lot of the English isn't proper English or how you would actually, I guess, speak English, so to speak. But it is interesting how this game is supposed to be like the worst game ever, super woke. But to me, when I read these early reactions, I just get even more excited for this game, because how could a video game like The Last of Us have the sequel being so bad? So now we've got The Last of Us 2 director saying the following. The Last of Us 2 was subject to major story leaks earlier this year when hackers managed to gain access to some of Naughty Dog's private servers by accessing the servers of some of its previous titles, according to Sony. Now, I'm not a conspiracy theory person. I'm not going to question whether this is true or not. It really doesn't make much sense to question it. As the leakers began to appear online, many had speculated that they stemmed from a frustrated Naughty Dog employee, given the recent allegations of poor working conditions approaching the end of Last of Us 2 development. However, it was later revealed that it was work hackers. Okay, in every single video game company, there's always some kind of allegation of bad working, poor working conditions, because the closer to a video game, this happened with GTA 5, GTA 6, the closer you get to a video game launch, the closer you have high demands. You have demands in all big video game companies, in all big companies alike. So speaking to Eurogamer, Neil Druckmann commented on the leak saying this: there's a lot of the feedback that came out. Our take on it is, right? There's so many false things out there. He continued, we don't want to go out there and correct anything, because that would be spoiling the game in a way. By saying what isn't, we are kind of saying what is. Contrary to many leaks, Neil went out of his way to definitely calm that these are all theories about what the ending is. But the ending is not out there. You actually don't know how it all comes together. Neil also briefly mentioned the spoilers that circulated around the release of The Last of Us and Uncharted 4: A Thief's End, stating they didn't take away from anything at the end, because nothing compares to playing it. He also reiterated his stance that The Last of Us 2 is the most ambitious game Naughty Dog has ever made, and that he believes the game will deliver an excellent story even if fans have been spoiled. So what he's saying is, some of the things that are out there are real, so to speak. Some of them are fake. But without playing the video game, you don't have said context. You need to know about all the different characters' relationships with one another, their history, how they know each other. So just reading leaks without playing the game yourself doesn't really tell us a lot. Speaking of the game's protagonistic, Ellie, and her growth since the first game, Druckmann stated, we made a journey with Ellie and who Ellie is. It's been defined in the previous game. We're going to continue going forward. She's now 19. How do we explore all the facts of what it's like to be a 19-year-old? You think you're invincible. You think you know what's right and wrong in the world. You're sexually attracted to people you're attracted to. Those are all the things we want to explore for this character, and that's how we do honest storytelling. And to be honest, I don't know how old she was in the first game. I thought she was like 13. But apparently she was 9, so I'm not really sure of her age in the first game. But yeah, each character will develop. Even Joel's character is going to develop. So I do find it interesting how the leaks are real, but they're also fake. But there's also people online that are trying to discredit what's happened with the leaks. Now, I don't agree with the tactics that some YouTubers have videos pulled down and stuff, but I am really looking forward to The Last of Us 2. All the early reactions, I know you're going to say it's damage control. Corey, the director of God of War, basically did a smiley face after playing it. He's insinuated he's played it, and a lot of other early reactions also make bold statements like The Last of Us 2 leaks are fake. So I don't know what to believe. I've not actually specifically looked at the leaks, or at least if I did, I really can't remember them, because now I've played The Last of Us 1. I can't really wait for Last of Us 2. So I believe that you should play The Last of Us 2. Because if you enjoyed The Last of Us 1, you should want to see where these characters go going forward. How old's Joel? And what state is Joel in when he returns? Who is Ellie? We don't know. it's going to be very interesting. Now, I'm not here for damage control. I'm not here to say go out and buy it. But what I'm saying is I played Last of Us for the first time, and I'm just about to go play it again because it's so darn great. So like always, guys, let me know down below. What do you think is going on? Are you going to play The Last of Us 2? Do you want to play The Last of Us 2? I can't wait to play this video game. So like always, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment. Be much appreciated. Also, follow me Twitch, twitch.tv/Warstu. That will be much appreciated. And I will catch you in another video very soon. Catch you later.